Hello class 7, this is Garima. Today we are going to start third chapter, the Delhi Sultanate. Till now I have sent you so many videos, so I have uploaded all those video on my YouTube channel. I will send you link of that channel. You can listen that video whatever whenever you have time, whenever your parents have time, you can watch it from over there. And yeah, you can tell this to your siblings also. I have uploaded 5th, 6th and 7th class video over there. And um, pay attention towards it. We are doing very hard work for you for making this video, but you are not paying attention towards it. We are not fool, or we are not we are not that person. We are paying very hard work for you, so you also pay your attention towards it. Ask such question so that I will feel happy that I am making this effort for you. But in against of this, student also paying their effort, but I'm not getting any effort from your side. And if I start feeling that I will not make your videos for you, I will send YouTube links to you, because you are not so much interested about it now. So please pay your attention towards this. So today we start the Delhi Sultanate. Chapter 3rd. The Delhi Sultanate is about the Mughal Empire. How the Mughal Empire captured that Delhi Sultanate. Before them, who were the majesty of that. How Delhi Sultanate play a very crucial role in our history, and how this is Delhi Sultanate makes Indian history very important. And what's the positive aspect of Mughal Empire, what is the negative aspect of Mughal empires, and how they captured India, and from where they come, and to whom they defeat. These all things are captured in this chapter. So let's start this chapter. In chapter 2, we saw the region like the covered delta and become the center of large kingdom. Did you notice there was no mention of kingdom with Delhi as its capital? That is because Delhi became an important city only in the 12th century. Means after 12th century, the Delhi Sultanate start propounding their importance among all others. Dynasties before that, Delhi Sultanate are not very important, but after the 12th century, Delhi Sultanate will start start considering as a very important part of the India. And take a look at the table 1. Delhi first become the capital of kingdom under the Tomar Rajput. Delhi, at that time, Delhi become the capital. By the Tomar Rajput firstly, and who were defeated in the middle of the 12th century by the Chauhans of Ajmer. And that Tomar Rajput were defeated by the Chauhan dynasty. The Chauhan means, I can give you an example of Chauhan, like Prithviraj Chauhan is one of the majesty, or one of the king of that dynasty. And it was under the Thomas and Chauhans that Delhi became an important commercial center. And in the dynasty of Thomas and Chauhans time, the Delhi become very crucial center for the commercial purpose. Commercial purpose means the trading means ki business activity was started over there in a large amount on that time. Many rich Jain merchants lived in the city and constructed several temples. At that time, so many Jain merchant means hota hai the Jain merchants lived in that city on that time, and constructed several temples, coin minted here. And they also constructed various temples over there. And also, they माइंड वेरी कॉइन्स, बहुत दे माइंड मीन्स उन्होंने डिग करके बहुत सारे कॉइन्स वहाँ से निकाले थे. एंड कॉल्ड दिल्लीवाल एंड हैड अ वाइड सर्कुलेशन. एंड इन लोगों को बोला जाता है दिल्लीवाद. क्या बोला जाता था? दिल्लीवाद. द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ दिल्ली इनटू अ कैपिटल दैट कंट्रोल वास्ट एरिया ऑफ द सब कॉन्टिनेंट स्टार्टेड विद द फाउंडेशन ऑफ दिल्ली सल्तनत. In the beginning of the 13th century, the transformation of Delhi into a capital that controlled vast area of the subcontinent started with the foundation of Delhi Sultanate in the beginning of 13th century. 13th century में दिल्ली ने बहुत अपना Delhi start controlling subcontinent, means the other part of country they start controlling that, and they have become very important part of the continent from 13th century. And take a look at the table 1, means look at this map. The Delhi Sultanate started their major role from the 13th century. Delhi Sultanate built many cities in the area that we know known as Delhi. Means the Delhi Sultans have built many cities around the Delhi, and this time we called it Delhi. First look at Delhi 1, Kunwa, Shri and Jahanpana. ये Delhi, Kunwa, Jahanpana and Shri are the all these three city right now is the part of Delhi. Now the rulers of Delhi ki how many kingdoms and how many dynasty have ruled on Delhi. This is the table. You all have to make this table on your notebook, okay? And the Tomar Rajput start ruling on Delhi firstly, and then after that the Turkish rulers start ruling on that. Then Khalji dynasty, then the Tughlaq dynasty, and then Sayyid dynasty, then Lodi dynasty. After the Lodi dynasty, the Mughal Empire started ruling on Delhi. Finding out about the Delhi Sultans. What kind of things they have done, through some findings we got to know about that. All through inscriptions, coins, architecture provide a lot of information. Especially valuable are histories, twarikh written in Persian, the language of administration under the Delhi Sultanate की. अब बहुत सारे हमारे we have found many inscriptions, coin, architecture provide a lot of information. Especially valuable are histories through many inscription and the coins were found over there in Delhi by the architecture. From that they got to know about the various things about Delhi Sultan, and all these things were written in Persian language, and that inscription, all these things were known as the Twarikh and Tariq. The author of Twarikh were learned men, secretaries, administrator, poet, and courtiers. Those who write the Twarikh, maybe they were secretaries, maybe they were administrator, maybe they were poets and the courtiers, who both recounted events and advised ruler on governance. And all they are maybe, or they were the person who suggested some एडवाइस टू किंगडम ऑन दैट टाइम. मतलब उस टाइम पर ये लोग क्या देते होंगे, शायद एडवाइस देते होंगे, और तभी वो लोग उन लोगों ने उन चीज़ों के बारे में इंस्क्रिप्शंस में लिखा एंड कॉइन्स में लिखा एंड आर्किटेक्चर से जिसमें बहुत सारी उन पर इंस्क्राइब था. ये इंस्क्रिप्शन मीन्स होता है समथिंग विच इज़ रिटन ओवर ऑन सम वॉल, ठीक है, वॉल या स्टोन्स. This is known as the inscription. And the manuscript, when someone written down anything on paper, leaves, this is known as manuscripts. Keep the following additional detail in mind. The author of Twarikh lived in cities and hardly ever in village. Mostly जो author मतलब those who have written down these Twarikh, they were lived in Delhi, and they often wrote their histories for Sultan in the hope of rich reward, or maybe they write down the history of Sultan for getting rich reward from them. Maybe they have write it down all the positive point about the kings because they want some reward from them. That's why we can't fully believe on that that they have described us all the things correctly, because maybe they were biased toward their kings. And these authors advise rulers on the need to preserve an ideal social order based on birthright, general distinction. ओके और इन्हीं ऑथर्स ने क्या किया था उस टाइम पे इन लोगों को एक तरीके से सजेशन दिया था किंग्स, मतलब सजेशन, और किंग्स ये बातों को बहुत ज़्यादा फॉलो अप करते थे कि बर्थ राइट कहाँ से, वो कहाँ पैदा हुए हैं, जेंडर डिस्टिंक्शन, फीमेल एंड मेल में डिस्टिंक्शन होना चाहिए, ये सब उन्होंने इस ही हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट्स ये सब राइट डाउन करते थे, उन्हीं से आगे की जनरेशन सीखती थी. एंड तारीख इज़ द मेन पॉइंट, मेन थिंग्स फ्रॉम दैट. नेक्स्ट person, next kings or next ruler of that dynasty will learn about their descendant. In 2036, Sultan Iltutmish daughter Razia becomes Sultan and the chronicle of the age. Minhaj-e-Siraj recognized that she was more able and qualified than all her brothers, but he was not comfortable at having a queen as ruler, nor were the noble happy at her attempt to rule independently. She was removed from the throne in 2040. Means the Iltutmishi daughter Razia Sultan were the Razia Sultan is the first woman ruler who have ruled in India for first woman ruler of India. And she was not she was more qualified than her brothers, but because of his gender उनको ज़्यादा दिन तक डायनेस्टी या रूल में नहीं रहने दिया और उनको उस किंग या कुछ उस थ्रोन से हटा दिया. थ्रोन मीन्स होता है तख्त, जहाँ पर जो बच्चे पूरे जहाँ पर वो किंग्स बैठते हैं. व्हाट मिन्हाज-ए-सिराज थॉट अबाउट रज़िया. मिन्हाज-ए-सिराज थॉट दैट द क्वींस रूल वेंट अगेंस्ट द आइडियल सोशल ऑर्डर क्रिएटेड बाय गॉड. जो मिन्हाज-ए-सिराज की वजह से क्या हुआ, जो रज़िया थी उनको हटा दिया. वो सोचती थी कि अगर वुमेंस बन जाएंगी तो वो ये एक जो गॉड ने एक रूल बनाया है उसके अगेंस्ट है. ही देयरफॉर आस्क्ड इन द रजिस्टर ऑफ गॉड क्रिएशन सिंस हर अकाउंट डिड नॉट फॉल अंडर द कॉलम्स ऑफ मैन, हाउ डिड शी गेन फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ हर एक्सीलेंट क्वालिटी. मीन्स कि वो कहते थे कि ये गॉड के अगेंस्ट है, बट हम ये क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि अगर वो गॉड के अगेंस्ट ही थी, हाउ शी हैव सच क्वालिटी, उनके पास फिर इतनी सारी अच्छी क्वालिटी कैसे थी. इवन शी इज़ मोर क्वालिफाइड देन हर ब्रदर. On her inscription coins, Razia mentioned that she was a daughter of Sultan Iltutmish. वो इल्तुमिश की डॉटर थी, and this was in contrast to the queen of Rudrama Devi of the Kakatiya dynasty of Warangal, part of modern Andhra Pradesh. And Rudrama Devi changed her name on her inscription and pretended she was a man. Another queen, Queen Didda, ruled in Kashmir, and her title is interesting. It comes from Didi or elder sister, and obviously affectionate term given to a loved ruler by her subject. Means और भी बहुत सारी डायनेस्टी जिसमें हम रुद्रमा देवी की बात करें या फिर डिड्डा क्वींस की बात करें, उन्होंने क्या किया था, they have pretended that they both are males, but actually they both are female. But because of this dogma, or because of this kind of thinking, they both have start pretending that they both are men. But in case of Razia Sultan, she never pretended that she was male. That's why she ruled only very few years on that throne. Now from garrison town to empire. Now talk about the what is garrison town and how this garrison town converted to empire. In the early 13th century, the control of the Delhi Sultan really went beyond heavily fortified towns occupied by garrison. The Sultan garrison town is a fortified settlement with soldier. Garrison town means होता है जो सोल्जर्स जहाँ पर रहते हैं, ये मोस्टली जो गैरिसन टाउन क्या होता है, जो भी हमारा किंग का एरिया होता है उसके कॉर्नर पे ये टाउन बनता है, जहाँ पर ये जो सिपाही होते हैं दे यूज टू लिव ओवर देयर, और दैट पार्ट नोन एज गैरिसन टाउन. Okay, the sultan seldom control the hinterland of the city. Hinterland means the land adjacent to a city or port that supply it with goods and services. और hinterland होता है, it just like an एक place जहाँ से क्या होता है trading होती है. Most of the goods and services were traded from that place. जहाँ उस place से क्या होता है, ये सारी चीज़ें क्या होती थी, traded होती थी. That place known as the hinterland of the city were therefore depend upon trade, tribute and plunder for supplies. और वहाँ से क्या होती थी, उस जगह को बोला जाता है hinterland. ये दिल्ली सुल्तानत के ही थे, और hinterland उधर से क्या होता है, ये चीज़ें क्या होती थी, ट्रेड होती थी. कंट्रोलिंग गैरिसन टाउन इन डिस्टेंट बंगाल एंड सिंध फ्रॉम दिल्ली वॉज एक्सट्रीमली डिफ़िकल्ट. Rebellion, war, even bad weather could snap fragile communication routes. The state was also challenged by Mongol invasion from Afghanistan and by governor. क्या होता था, गैरिसन टाउन से मोस्टली बंगाल से रिबेलिशन आता है. रिबेलिशन मीन्स कि वॉर होने के चांसेस, ज़्यादातर लोग गैरिसन टाउन पे क्या करते थे, वॉर करते थे, हमला करते थे. एंड फ्रेजाइल कम्युनिकेशन रूट वेदर कुड स्नैप, और बहुत बुरा एक कम्युनिकेशन रूट होता था जिसके थ्रू जो गैरिसन टाउन पे इंफॉर्मेशन आती थी. द स्टेट वॉज ऑल्सो चैलेंज बाय मुगल इन्वेजन. और इन गैरिसन टाउन की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी कि मंगोलों ने भी अफ़गानिस्तान से थे, दे वर स्टार्टेड इंटरप्टिंग एन इन्वेजन टू सुल्तान दिल्ली सुल्तानत डायनेस्टी. रिबेलिशन एट एनी साइन ऑफ द सुल्तान वीकनेस. और the sultanate barely survived these challenges, and its expansion occurred during the reigns of Gyanuddin Balban. जब क्या हुआ, जब बहुत सारे बंगाल की साइड से या फिर बहुत जगह की साइड से जब दिल्ली सल्तनत को कंटिन्यूसली बहुत रिबेलिशन मिला, तो एट लास्ट गयासुद्दीन बलबन, अलाउद्दीन खिलजी और मोहम्मद तुगलक ने इस रिबेलिशन में सरवाइव कर पाए थे. And the first set of campaign along the internal frontier of the Sultanate aimed at consolidating the hinterland of the garrison town. And during this campaign, forests were cleared in Ganga Yamuna Doab, and hunter-gatherer pastoralists expelled from their habitat. And these, now here I am closing this video because of some problem have occurred. I have to go, but next time I will send you remaining portion of this chapter. So if you have any query until now, then you can ask me.